All right.
What we got? Your boy. We've been talking about him for a little bit. Daniel Jones. We've been talking about, especially in the wake of Saquon Barkley looking like the best running back in all of football and an MVP candidate. We've been obviously having the conversation. What were the Giants doing?
What's the score that I'm looking at?
Where are we right now?
Wow.
The Knicks down like that, 23-7 to the Mavericks. A little beat down. It's still early. It's the NBA. 20 points is easy to come back from. All right. With Daniel Jones now being with the Vikings, this is an interesting situation he finds himself in. And I believe, as much as smack as I've talked, you've talked, he's had a horrible, really, tenure thus far in the NFL. He had a solid season when he got 15 touchdowns, and that landed him all the money. But now he finds himself in a one-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. And Kevin O'Connell specifically, the head coach there, this is why he landed in the best place so swiftly, Rob, because Kevin O'Connell has worked magic with quarterbacks. We just had the conversation with TJ Houshmandzadeh. He's put so many quarterbacks in great position. Kirk Cousins, by the way, who at the end of his career have gotten all the bags. We're all going to be like, wait, Kirk Cousins got all that money? But Kirk Cousins has gotten paid. We've seen what he's been able to do now, but all of a sudden Sam Darnold, who we all thought was not going to be anything in the NFL, now he's having a career year, and the team is 9-2. And Sam Darnold,
he ain't playing that great of late.
But he's already got 20 touchdowns past his career high, and he's gonna do a Baker Mayfield and turn this into a bag somewhere. And not that he's all of a sudden a Hall of Famer, but he's gonna turn this into some money somewhere, which now puts him in a position with Sam Darnold in this 1 year playing very well. Maybe they don't want to pay him what they would have to pay him because they've already drafted J.J. McCarthy. But with him going through all these injuries and surgeries, you're gonna mess around and find a situation where Daniel Jones may mess around and start early next year because of JJ, who had a setback in his injury. Now he had to have another surgery, and he's going through rehab, and it's going to take some time. If he's not ready week one and Sam Darnold gets a bag somewhere else, Daniel Jones may be a starter for the Minnesota Vikings for the first couple of weeks in the season. And that's a great opportunity for him because you have an offensive-minded coach who has resurrected the career of multiple quarterbacks, can help you. The defense is good. Brian Flores has the defense balling, which is really the main focal point for them out there. And you might mess around and play well enough to get a starting job elsewhere at the end of the season if you find yourself playing 2 or 3 games while J.J. McCarthy is recovering. So while he has had a tumultuous and not a great career thus far, he couldn't have landed in a better situation. So I don't know if his mama's a praying mama, his girlfriend, his wife is a praying woman, if he's a praying man. But for all things considered, he found himself in the best spot that he can land in.
Here's my issue with you. And I have a big issue.
Okay.
Because it ain't that easy. Maybe he's just not talented enough.
No, I'm not arguing that.
Because there are a lot of quarterbacks who couldn't play in one place and couldn't go and went other places and still couldn't play. I don't care. Brian Daboll is supposed to be the quarterback whisperer who fixed Josh Allen. So he was with Brian Daboll. So now you're telling me that Daniel Jones, that Brian Daboll is no more the quarterback whisperer because he couldn't fix Daniel Jones and they have to cut a guy and still owe him $13.5 million. So now he's going to go somewhere else and somebody else is going to fix him? It sounds good, and I hear it. Some other guys might have worked out, but can we he had 6 years as a starting quarterback.
He got more than most people.
Where he played every down unless he was hurt. It wasn't like he played. And I just don't, at some point you got to look at him and go, maybe he just doesn't have it. Maybe he's just not that guy. Maybe he's DeMarcus Russell. Maybe he is that guy. You know what I mean? Or some of these other Ryan Leaf or some of these other guys. The NFL is littered with quarterbacks that didn't pan out. And then there are some, Baker Mayfield. But Baker Mayfield, if you go back, even when the Browns decided that they were going to go another way, he won them their first playoff game in 20-some-odd years and blew out the Steelers. Then the next year, and he won 10, 11 games that year, the next year, he plays hurt. I talk about this all the time. Yeah, you want to be a gamer or whatever. If they're going to count that against you, you shouldn't play hurt. Because they did that to Baker Mayfield. There was no reason that they should have run him out of there, and now look what he's doing. Most
playing
people,
well.
Rob G., you were in that camp. You thought he was dead, NFL dead. Am I right? Rob G. thought when he played that one. How many games he played for the Rams? One. When he started that Rams game.
It was before that game when he beat the Raiders, of course.
Right.
I said on this show, and they put it out. Shout out to Elijah. It got some pub on the website and everything. That Baker Mayfield, a year from then, was going to be hosting on the Longhorn Network.
Right.
Before he'd be in the NFL. And then he goes and secures the bag, and he's back. And
look where he is. No,
that's a big one.
But a lot of people, Rob G, were in your camp.
Yeah, because he got kicked to the curb twice by that.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. But I'm saying, but I saw something with Baker Mayfield. He had some success in Cleveland.
No, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He could play.
But he had success in the league is what I'm saying. Daniel Jones, you'd be hard-pressed. That's why even T.J. Houshmandzadeh, he's like, what? Like, he's had a shot.
Oh, no. So my thing is not that he is about to be a starter and resurrect his career as much as he's about to be a starter by circumstance. And that was the best situation. If he and his agent are like, yo, we want to get back out here and, showcase what we believe to be that we have talent, we're good. This was the best situation, literally on paper. You go into a stable organization. You go into a head coach who is a former quarterback who's offensive-minded, who has Sam Darnold playing the best football of his career. Kirk Cousins played the best football of his career. And he's also transitioned and transformed a couple other quarterbacks that have been there. And so you got J.J. McCarthy, who they drafted very high. And I'm a Michigan guy. I was even shocked how high they drafted him. I was like, whoa, J.J. McCarthy? Did I miss something? I watched all his games. And so he's going to be the starter eventually. But right now, if you are Daniel Jones, this is by far the best situation because the main future, their number 10 pick, I believe JJ was, is injured. With a severe injury, that's got a setback, had to have another surgery.
I get that, but you could also put him out there, and he could also do what he did with the Giants.
Right, but I'm saying this is his, you were fortunate, and you talk about Thanksgiving, be thankful this worked out, because he could have went to, the Jags or something, the Panthers, and just been in a bad situation, hold a clipboard, and just be there until his time in the league is out.
I'll sit right here and say right now, I don't think he's fixable.
It's very possible. I'm not even questioning that.
And only because of the amount of time and snaps that he's gotten. Do you see what I'm saying?
He's had a longer runway than most people. If you were in a year or two and you didn't, and you were hurt or whatever, and you didn't get to play. Fields, use as example.
You know what I mean?
A couple years.
Right, and you didn't really get a chance to really like he was there.
They made it, and they made it about him too, and they almost had to save face. Really make it about him because they let Saquon go. So like, no, you're really your team. We hope you do this because we've already kind of transitioned to you, gave you the keys to the kingdom. Please make this work. And it didn't work. And the last two, I'll say this. The thing about Daniel Jones was...
Remember, they were averaging 7 points at home.
You can't average 7 points at home. That's
come on, man.
Crazy.
In the NFL...
And Kevin O'Connell, too, you and I are on the same page in that Daniel Jones hasn't really shown me anything. Kevin O'Connell seemed oddly giddy during the press conference, y'all don't even know what I got. I just kind of snuck this by y'all. Ooh, the rest of y'all, the other 31 teams, y'all sleeping. It was oddly excited about this, and maybe that's what happens when you have so much success. You feel like I'm the quarterback whisperer.
Right.
Watch me do what I do.
But that's what Brian Daboll was supposed to be. And that's
what's disappointing about Daniel Jones before we break is that not only you mentioned he had the time, you can be good and bad situations where we go, man, it's the situation. He hasn't even really been that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, man, he's balling. It's just the team sucks. For instance, Joe Burrow this season, right? Joe Burrow, he what more do y'all want from me? I'm throwing up crazy numbers.
He threw 9 touchdowns and has 2 L's.
And then the next game after that threw another 4. So I think he had 13 touchdowns in 3 games. And lost, I think either all 3 or 2. He lost 1 and 2 in them. So it's what do you want from me? So this isn't where Daniel Jones is balling. We're like, man, just look at the team around him. He also isn't contributing. But if you talk about just give me another chance, buddy, you got your second chance. You are a fortunate individual, and this is Thanksgiving tomorrow. He better be thankful.